And we are back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, people. You know, it helps us out a ton, and it only costs you a little flick of the finger. You know, help a brother out with a flick of the finger, and you know we appreciate it. Now, y'all, we came with this story a few weeks ago, and now it is official. Georgia lawmakers have passed a bill which will allow people prosecuted by a rogue district attorney, a district attorney who's later disqualified from the case. It will allow those people to go back and sue to get some reparations, using that provocative terms, to get some compensation after they spent their hard-earned money on defending themselves from a district attorney who's later disqualified for misconduct. Y'all know where this is going, right? Let's take a look. Georgia lawmakers finally okay system to pay wrongfully convicted with Trump election case writer added. The Georgia Senate approved a bill Friday that allows criminal defendants to recoup their legal costs if the prosecuting attorney in their case is disqualified for personal or professional misconduct, a description that recalls the Fulton County prosecutor who brought felony charges against President Donald Trump. Next step is Governor Brian Kemp's desk for signature. So this was Senate Bill 244. It was originally inspired by Trump's election interference case in Georgia. It was later amended to revive the Wrongful Conviction Compensation Act, a stalled House bill that was aimed at providing reparations to people wrongfully incarcerated. House lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have faced an uphill battle in their efforts to properly compensate those who have been wrongfully incarcerated. The process is currently done on a case-by-case basis through individual compensation resolutions that must pass the full legislative process like any other bill. Legislation to standardize the process was initially introduced by Atlanta Democratic Representative Scott Holcomb in 2022. If Governor Brian Kemp signs the bill into law, it will allow criminal defendants to recoup their legal costs from county prosecuting attorneys' budgets in cases where the prosecutor is disqualified for personal or professional misconduct. So y'all remember that Fani has been disqualified from the Trump case due to the appearance of impropriety. So we still have a question. Well, here it says the significant appearance of impropriety. So I think that's a question. Was that misconduct, or was that just, it looks like misconduct? But you know, what would the court say? That's a good question. Separately, it will establish a new process under Georgia state law for people who have been convicted for crimes they did not commit and later exonerated, allowing administrative law judges to rule on wrongful conviction compensation cases and awarding a standardized rate of $75,000 for each year of incarceration to each exoneree, with an additional $25,000 added for each year spent on death row. So y'all can see Fani, she's in there doing her thing, effing up stuff. Y'all know she effing up stuff, losing money left and right. You already know that she had to pay Judicial Watch $22,000. You already know that she had to send another $54,000 to the merchant law firm. And now she's on the verge of probably bankrupting her entire county budget, her entire Fulton County DA budget, when Donald Trump and co-defendants come after her for who knows how many countless millions of dollars in reparations, y'all, in compensation. Now, Fani, she just can't stop losing. Y'all probably heard last week she launched a Hail Mary effort to try to get Young Thug back in jail, right?
That Channel 2 Action News exclusive on rapper Young Thug. Tonight, the Fulton County District Attorney's Office filed a motion to revoke his probation. The rapper was released on bond last November. We broke the story on WSBTV.com around 8:30 tonight. And Channel 2 investigative reporter Mark Winnie joins us now live from the newsroom. Mark, the DA spoke exclusively to you about this motion.
Yeah, this concerns the YSL gang racketeering conspiracy case. Last year, DA Fani Willis suggested to us the sentence for rap superstar Young Thug, real name Jeffrey Williams, that let him hit the street the night he pled guilty or nolo contendere to all charges he faced was a sentence which could send him to prison for years if he crossed the wrong line. Now this. If your motion is successful, young thug would go to prison.
He could.
A new and dramatic verse in the case surrounding music star Young Thug, real name Jeffrey Williams. A motion from prosecutors at the Fulton County District Attorney's Office to revoke Williams' probation. It says, quote, since sentencing, the defendant has engaged in conduct that directly threatens the safety of witnesses and prosecutors, compromises ongoing legal proceedings, and warrants immediate revocation of probation. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis.
What our motion is concerned about is that we certainly believe that his post was to threaten law enforcement, which is all part of gang activity.
Jeffrey Williams' attorney Brian Steele told me by phone it is never appropriate to be engaged in any type of witness intimidation. It is never appropriate to threaten to murder another person. The prosecution's motion to revoke Jeffrey's probation should not be well received and should be swiftly rejected. It is irresponsible to file a motion of this sort when Jeffrey has done absolutely nothing, Steele said, to violate any condition of probation or threaten a witness.
We know that it is clear to Mr. Williams that the intent of the district attorney is to stop gang activity in Fulton County, Georgia. We believe the judge's order is clear, and that this is an intentional violation.
The motion says investigator Marissa Viverito is currently testifying in a gang murder hearing and indicates a judge ordered the witness not be shown on TV while testifying, but that a blogger posted on social media she doesn't want to be shown on screen. Well, here she is, along with a photo of the investigator. The motion says on Tuesday, Young Thug reposted the image, and the post went viral, amassing more than 2 million views. The motion says Viverito's home address and her parents' home address were publicly posted, exposing them to grave danger, and that hours later, an additional post emerged threatening the assassination of D.A. Willis. The motion alleges Williams' continued association with individuals actively involved in witness intimidation, threats of violence, and obstruction of justice constitutes a clear violation of probation conditions. Last year, Ms. Willis suggested to us there was room for accountability in Young Thug's complicated sentence involving 5 years commuted time served, followed by 15 years probation to be followed by a, quote, backloaded 20-year prison term, which would also be commuted to time served if he successfully completes the probation, which was loaded with lots of special conditions. I expect, Wendy, a courtroom fight over this one. Reporting live in the newsroom, Mark Winnie, WSB Tonight.
And we know that you'll be covering that for us, Mark. Thank you for that.
For some reason, Fani some people, it's like I don't know. So last week, Fani tried to get Young Thug back in jail. Of course, that failed miserably. Let's take a look at that.
And tonight, a judge has ruled not to revoke probation for Atlanta rapper Young Thug. Now, this comes just hours after the rapper's attorney responded to the calls from the Fulton County District Attorney's Office to revoke it. Attorneys Brian Steele and Keith Adams argued prosecutors failed to meet the legal standard for revocation. In the filing, Steele said the state has to put in writing the specific actions the rapper allegedly took. The state filed its motion late last night, saying the rapper, whose real name is Jeffrey Williams, has demonstrated a blatant disregard for the law and the safety of witnesses since his sentencing in the YSL RICO trial last year. The motion from the state also said he used social media to intimidate witnesses, which has led to threats. They specifically point to a social media post from a blogger who shared a picture of an investigator testifying in a gang murder hearing. The court asked that the witness not be shown while testifying. The motion claims Williams amplified this post by reposting it, and then it went viral. The judge advised Williams to be careful about weighing in on certain topics on social media. Last year, Williams accepted a deal and was sentenced to 15 years probation. He is forbidden from promoting gang activity or engaging in behaviors that could intimidate witnesses or undermine judicial proceedings.
So what do y'all what is it about certain people who just decide that they're just going to do something, and it doesn't matter if they get slapped around, doesn't matter if they get stomped on, they just keep going? You know, I mean, I guess in some ways that's a good thing. In some areas of life, where in some endeavors you just keep going. But there's also such thing as cut your losses, right? So I'd like to hear what y'all have to say. Do y'all agree that somebody who has been prosecuted and the prosecutor was taken off the case for misconduct, do you think that person should be able to sue and get their lawyer fees back and maybe some additional compensation? Or do you just chalk that up to, no, we live in a democracy, mistakes are made, you have to take that one on the chin? And I guess we should also ask the same question about people who were incarcerated unjustly, right? Erroneously. I want to hear what y'all have to say. I thank y'all for watching. You know, y'all are the best community on YouTube. I appreciate y'all. Definitely leave a comment on this one, but before you do, please stop, hit the share button. Share this video out over text message, email, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all the social mediums. And of course, if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. I want to thank y'all for watching. Love y'all, and we'll see you back in the next one.